and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Indian share markets snap 4 days of gains. Investors in wait-and-watch mode ahead of the US Fed meet outcome. Nifty ends down 63 points, Sensex down 215. The US Fed all set to raise interest rates for a fourth consecutive time. An hour from now, analysts expect a 75 basis point hike, hopes that the Fed will be less aggressive in the future. We'll add 20,000 jobs in the next 12 months, says Tech Mahindra CEO in an exclusive interview with Business Today TV. Claims that all offer letters to freshers will be honoured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sets a new target of having India as a developed nation by 2047, rolls out the red carpet for global investors, says investing in India means investing in democracy and inclusion. A day before the special RBI MPC meet, the governor makes it clear the report on inflation to the government will not be made public, says the inflation target was thrown off course by the Ukraine war. Elon Musk's ultimatum to the Twitter elite: pay for the blue tick privileges or be banished from the list. The question is whether Indians are willing to pay around 185 rupees a month for that privilege. Quiet day for trade, relatively. Our markets ending marginally lower after a breather post this recent surge that we've seen on the exchange. After the flat start, profit-taking pushed the index a little lower, but a marginal rebound in the closing hours trimmed losses. We ended with the Sensex at 69.06 and the Nifty at 18.083. Metals gained in trade today. Hindalco was up 1.5%. Sun Pharma continued to look good post-earnings. ITC has been a consistent preferred play, and ONGC also among the gainers pack. Meanwhile, Bharti Airtel was down about 3%, followed by Apollo Hospitals, Maruti, Eicher Motors and Britannia. The rupee settling at about 82.7 to the dollar. Tech Mahindra has said it will give jobs to 20,000 in the next 12 months. Speaking exclusively to Business Today TV managing editor Siddharth Zarabi, the company's MD and CEO CP Gurnani said that the company was committed to honouring all offer letters given to freshers. Here's an excerpt from the interview recorded this afternoon.
Your recap of the Q2 financial performance overall seemed to be a good set of numbers.
Thank you, Siddharth. And yes, it has been a very disciplined operational rigor that you saw being practiced by the Tech Mahindra associates in Q2. On one end, we had to, adjust to the challenges that the new world is offering. On the other hand, we also had to meet some of the customers' demands under difficult circumstances. Our belief is that overall, when I look at all the parameters, TechM has done well, approximately 2.9% constant currency growth, EBITDA improvement to 15.2%, attrition down to 19.6%. Both CME and enterprises business is growing. Our investments in 5G, metaverse, and customer connectivity and experience management is yielding results. So yes, we are happy, but then as the old Hindi saying goes, we can do better.
Well, everyone can do better, and that's a good point. I want to get your views on how do you expect margin performance to be in the remaining part of the year, considering the overall challenging environment that we are seeing?
Ultimately, margin performance, if we continue to be on the growth curve, which is what we think we will be, then I think we should be able to improve on our margins. Because a lot of measures that we have taken and a lot of investment that we are doing, it is very, very evident that we will be able to do a lot better uh, over the next few quarters. But as I said, I want to put in a word of caution. The word of caution clearly is that we budgeted based on our customer interactions, the customer voice. We have done a lot of analytics on each vertical and sub-vertical. So we do know that there will be a slowdown, but for Tech Mahindra, we are in a lag industry, and we think relatively we should be able to sail the storm.
Let me come back to your business and focus on attrition. From the numbers, I can see that there was a dip, a decline, and that is part of a trajectory that we've been seeing. How do you assess the situation as far as this blip is concerned? Is this temporary, or is it now a feature of post-COVID times?
Siddharth, I want to remind everybody, what did we do to reduce attrition? What we did is we listened to our employees. We spoke to them. And on the basis of that, direct conversations, we opened up centers in Coimbatore, Vijayawada, Warangal. So we just added new centers, Nagpur and Indore. So the whole point is, if you listen to your employees, if you're willing to be flexible and create a work environment. What is the second message that we got from our employees? That we need to make workplace so attractive that they want to come to the workplace. So we have an internal organization, which is a voluntary organization called Josh. The Josh has now been super activated. And the other day I was in Pune in one of my campuses, and I heard two different bands playing. And I asked my colleagues out there that why are the two bands? They said, no, we created an environment where anybody who has got a hobby can come and practice their hobbies in our campuses. So right now the response to the music hobby is so high that right now you see two bands, but you come at 11 o'clock in the night, you will see six bands playing.
Mr. Gurnani, that's a good point, because I was going to ask you that was one of those bands a band of freshers, because what we have also been hearing and picking up anecdotally, without perhaps major numbers, is that there seems to be some sort of delay in onboarding freshers. Is that correct? And if so, why is that happening, and by when do you see that situation getting tackled?
So Siddharth, I can speak only for Tech Mahindra. I didn't go and check if that band was a fresher, but let's believe it that the band was off pressure. That means I did not delay the onboarding.
Okay.
The second point is, as a policy, I am very clear that we respect the young talent. We believe that we need the young talent to bring in fresh ideas. And clearly, when you are a digital company, you want what in other industries is called digitally native. That means the talent which has grown into the digital world. And I think we respect that talent, and we will not delay joining or issuing appointment letters to the freshers. So I am very, very clear they're an important part of my organization, and they become the part the day I issue the appointment letter.
Okay, that's an important statement to make. On that note, could you tell our viewers about the headcount additions and the outlook for the rest of the year?
Siddharth, we don't give any guidance, and unfortunately, people tend to do a multiplication. We added about 5,000 people last quarter. Hopefully, we will continue to add about 20,000 people in the next 1 year. I can't tell you which month, which quarter, but my belief is that we are today at 164,000 people. Inshallah, we will be 184,000 people 12 months from now.
This week marks a return of the investor to the primary market, with as many as 4 IPOs hitting the Lal Street. IPO of DCX Systems, which opened on 31st October, closed today with a massive 7,000% subscription. The 500 crore rupee issue had a price band of 197 to 207 rupees. The retail portion has been subscribed 62 times, the QIB portion 84 times, and the NII share has been subscribed 44 times. DCX shares currently have a grey market premium of 80 rupees. Meanwhile, the issue of Fusion Microfinance, which opened today, has been subscribed just 7%. The 1,100 crore rupee issue closes on Friday and currently has a grey market premium of 40 rupees. Medanta Hospitals all set to open its 6th branch in Noida. The group, which is raising money from the primary market, is also looking at retiring more than 350 crore rupees in debt. My colleague Sakshi Batra spoke to Dr. Naresh Trehan and the CEO of the parent company, Global Health, Pankaj Sani, earlier today. Listen in.
If you could also detail as to how the company is looking to use the proceeds of the funds that will be raised via the fresh equity.
As mentioned by you, the total IPO is going to be 2,200 crores. Out of that, about 500 crores will be the primary capital which will be coming into the company. And out of this 500 crores, 375 crores has been marked for the repayment of some of our loans. These were loans which we had taken for building our facilities in Lucknow and our facilities in Patna. And with repayment, although we have a very strong balance sheet, we're already sitting on 500 crores of cash. Our total gross debt is only about 800 crores. So that gives us a net debt as of 30th of June of about 300 crores or so. And with this money coming in and with the loan repayment, we will not only be able to further strengthen our balance sheet, but we will also be able to save on the interest cost. And that should add further to the profitability. So we are using this money to pay off the loans, set us up for the growth that we see coming. As Dr. Trehan laid out, growth in terms of additional beds, going from 2,500 that we have at June 30th to about 3,500 beds, building out our facilities in Lucknow, Patna, as well as building out in Noida, and then setting us up for opportunities that may come as we move forward.
So you're looking to expand the number of beds to 3,500. That would include the Noida facility that Dr. Trehan was mentioning?
So we've already started our Lucknow facility just about 2 years ago. We started just before the COVID pandemic. That has taken off EBITDA break even in its first full year of operations and performing well. That is about 500 beds today, and that will be continue to add beds there. So that will continue to scale to about 900 to 1,000 beds. Our Patna facility, which we started only in January of this year, is also doing well. Is scaling up. That's about 300 beds right now, and that can go to about 650 beds. And then, of course, our Noida, as Dr. Trehan was mentioning, on which we've started construction. We expect that to be operational by FY25, and that will be about 550 beds by the time we are done. So we will be growing our bed capacity across the system, as well as looking at growth in terms of occupancy improvements, new doctors, new services. We added mother and child services in our Lucknow facility just in April of this year. So we see a fair amount of growth coming both in the immediate term as well as the bed capacity gets built up in the medium to long term as well.
Okay. Dr. Trehan, if you could just give us a sense of how are your tier 1 hospitals really performing vis-a-vis the tier 2 hospitals, and is there a reason why you're not looking at all the metros first, for example, but the other smaller cities to open your facilities and hospitals?
So our principles on which we function is that we want to provide this kind of service which does not exist in India per se. It did not, but now it does. And then we want to take this standard to areas which are underserved, and with the principles that it should be, one, in an area where there is need for it. Two, we want to make it as affordable as possible. And third, that that the integrity with which we deliver medicine, we want that to go to different areas. So if you look at our footprint, we will continue to grow with these principles. So geography is not a problem for us. The whole of India and even neighboring countries is on the canvas, and we'll see wherever these principles, then we will do the needful in those areas.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has set another ambitious target for his government. Addressing the Invest Karnataka summit, Modi said that India will be a developed nation by 2047, the 100th anniversary of independence.
ये भारत का अमृत काल है। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव पर देश की जनता नए भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प लेकर बढ़ रही है। इसमें और हमने 2047 तक विकसित भारत बनाने का लक्ष्य तय किया है। इसके लिए ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट और भारत का इंस्पिरेशन एक साथ जुड़ जाए, क्योंकि इंक्लूसिव, डेमोक्रेटिक और स्ट्रांग इंडिया का विकास दुनिया के विकास को गति देगा। और इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि भारत में इन्वेस्टमेंट का मतलब है इन्वेस्टमेंट इन इंक्लूजन।
Here's what else is making news in the corporate world. EdTech founder Baiju Ravindran reiterates his commitment to the state of Kerala. The company decides not to shut its Kerala centre after founder meets Chief Minister Vijayan. A total of 140 associates will continue to operate from the centre as the company, valued at $22 billion, restructures business, looking to be profitable by March next year. Bharti Airtel claims to have onboarded more than 1 million customers on its 5G Plus service. The next generation network is currently available in 8 cities. It is, however, not available on most Apple and Samsung handsets. China has imposed a strict COVID lockdown around a Foxconn factory manufacturing Apple iPhones. All residents have been barred from going out and only approved vehicles are allowed on the roads. The curbs will stay in place until the 9th of November. The RBI will not be releasing the report of its Special Monetary Policy Committee meeting tomorrow. The meeting, which comes immediately after the US Fed announces a possible rate hike later tonight, will focus on the reasons why RBI has been unable to keep inflation below the 6% cap for 3 straight quarters.
The MPC resolution is meant for the entire economy. Immediately, the market should know what is the RBI's decision. Citizens of the country should know what is the RBI's decision. Unlike that, the letter in the case of a letter which I write, which the Reserve Bank writes to the government, it's a report sent under a law. I don't have the privilege, the authority, or the luxury to release a letter like this, which is written under the law as per the legal requirement. I don't have the privilege, authority, or the luxury to release it to the media before even the addressee gets it. Here, the first right of receiving the letter lies with the government. The addressee should get it first. In due course, sooner than later, it will be out. The Parliament will know about it. The Standing Committee of Parliament will know about it. It will be really, the contents will be known. So it is not as if there is transparency being compromised in any manner, and I want to say it very emphatically that the monetary policy framework instituted in 2016 is a very transparent framework, and the writing of the letter is also very much an essential and fundamental element of that transparency. Nobody is hiding anything from the public, but it's a question of time.
The retail trials of the digital rupee are also set to commence this month. Though the RBI governor refused to give a target date for a full-fledged launch of the e-rupee, he did say the central bank was trying to launch it in the near term. The governor also highlighted the current global churn and strengths of the Indian economy at his address at an event in Mumbai.
We hope to do that, launch it on a nationwide basis. Sometime during the year 2023. I'm not referring to financial year, I'm referring to the calendar year of 2023. Of course, we are working closely with our banking partners. In fact, it will be extended in due course to all the banks. Currently, it is being done by 2 banks. 2 more banks are about to be onboarded very shortly. The banks will have to upgrade their technology simultaneously. And what is more critical is that the state governments also need to completely digitize their land records. The global economy is going through a process of churning. Triple shocks of COVID-19, the war in Ukraine, and the current financial market turmoil have created a toxic mix of factors and circumstances which every country has to grapple with. The International Monetary Fund, in its recent annual meeting, has presented a rather somber outlook for the world economy and the world trade. And it has also gone on to make downward revisions in its growth projections for the current year as well as for next year, and also downward revisions in the volume of global trade. In this unsettling global environment, the Indian economy has been growing steadily, drawing strength from its macroeconomic fundamentals and buffers. According to the IMF, India is slated to be one of the fastest growing major economies of the world in the current year as well as in the next year. Our policies, fiscal, monetary, and regulatory, were prudent, targeted, and time-bound. We were careful to ensure that demand remained in balance while supply conditions improved. As per the high-frequency indicators for the recent months, and in Reserve Bank we monitor nearly 70 high-frequency indicators on a real-time basis. Amidst all this, external demand, however, remains a weak spot in the face of accentuating global economic slowdown. Domestic inflation remains elevated. We are closely monitoring the inflation trends as well as the effect of our past actions. In our view, that is in Reserve Bank's view and in my view, price stability, sustained growth, and financial stability need not be mutually exclusive.
To pay or not to pay? That's the $8 question that the world's richest man is asking millions of Twitter elite who possess the coveted blue tick mark. Having promised to free the bird, Elon Musk is now seeking his pound of flesh from the blue tick Twitterati who stare at an ultimatum: pay or be banished from the elite list. So what will Indians do?
Elon Musk, the free speech musketeer, all dressed up as a superhero for Halloween. However, for millions, the vibes he's been giving off on Twitter the past few days are downright scary. Even before the world's richest man bought his way into the Twitter headquarters, his intention was clear: to sink all past practices and flush out the old ways of doing business. The social media platform was not pulling its weight. It needed to make more money. Just 5 days after the takeover, it was clear the bird's freedom came at a price. The blue verification tick will cost $8 a month. There was much hue and cry, but Musk stood his ground. For India and other countries, the hurt will not be as much, with the Twitter CEO promising a subscription based on purchase price parity, which for India is around 185 rupees. So, what do blue tick holders get? Priority in replies and searches crucial to power users. The ability to post long videos and audio. The users will see half as many ads. Publishers will get a paywall bypass. Importantly, Musk is dangling the carrot of monetization for Twitter users, a first for the microblogging site. These tweets by Musk showed he is willing to pay content creators for populating the Twitter feeds, something other social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn have been doing for long. But are Indians willing to pay for the blue tick privilege? An early poll by Business Today TV showed Indians overwhelmingly against paying any amount for the verified mark. The results did not change in a subsequent poll, where 82% respondents voted against the 185 rupee monthly subscription charge. There are meanwhile reports that the current crop of Twitter blue ticks may not exactly bear an economic harvest. Of the around 400 million Twitter accounts, just over half are active on a daily basis. According to reports, just 400,000 of these verified accounts, enough to generate a couple of $1 million in subscription charges a month for Twitter.
Will paying for a Twitter subscription be the only eligibility criteria to get a verified badge on your account, irrespective of your Twitter activity or your number of followers? Would this not reduce or dilute the reverence attached with the verified badge on Twitter? Moreover, how will the Twitter team authenticate if a person is giving out the right information or not? These are some questions Elon Musk and his team would have to answer in the days to come. This was Akanksha Chaturvedi for Business Today TV.
That's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks for watching.